We now bring in Shams Charania, who will be at the draft lottery today. Shams, we'll get to the lottery in a second, but the big news yesterday, Steve Kerr agreeing to a 2-year deal, returning to the Warriors as their coach after, exactly 3 weeks of deliberating. How did this come together?
Bill, it's a 2-year contract for Steve Kerr to return as head coach of the Golden State Warriors. Sources tell me that it makes him and keeps him the highest paid coach in the NBA moving forward. And for this 13th season and beyond with the Warriors, but Steve Kerr did contemplate stepping away after a legendary 4-championship run over the course of 12 years so far in Golden State. But I'm told Kerr met with Joe Lacob, the Warriors owner, multiple times over the last 3 weeks, face to face. And the conclusion was Steve Kerr wanted to coach. Joe Lacob and the Warriors welcomed him, wanted him back on this team. And the sides moved forward and just figured out what does this team look like into the summer, playing style, obviously the contractual terms as well. But this now clears the way for Steve Kerr to coach for the final years of Stephen Curry's career in Golden State, and now also gives them a sense of direction. They are going to be out there in the marketplace looking for a star caliber player to pair with Stephen Curry, with Steve Kerr as the head coach. They have 4 first-round picks. We'll see what happens in the lottery later today, as well as tradable contracts.
Yes, a ton of intrigue ahead for them in the offseason, but they know they'll have Kerr back year 13 with Golden State. He turned 61 in September. Shams, we do have playoff basketball today. Knicks Sixers first up. OG Anunoby missed Game 3 for New York with that hamstring strain. What's the latest on his availability for Game 4 this afternoon?
Phil, the good news for the Knicks is I'm told it's a minor hamstring strain for OG Anunoby, but he is listed questionable for later today. And with the Knicks up 3-0, there is certainly a feel that the team is going to consider making sure they take the long-term approach here with OG Anunoby, with the Eastern Conference Finals losing coming up. But he's going to be getting treatment up to game time today to see how that hamstring feels leading up to game time.
Yeah, and he's a key player, up to scoring by 4.7 points per game, regular season to playoffs. All right, Shams, reason you're posted up in Chicago for today, the draft lottery, 3 p.m. Eastern on ABC. What storylines do we need to know for today?
So, Phil, I'm going to give you 3. The first one is the big trade that happened last draft, which is Atlanta acquiring the most favorable of the Pelicans and the Bucks picks. That pick has a great chance going into today to being a top potential pick. The other one that I'm keeping an eye on, I'm going to give you 3, Phil, is the Pacers. They traded a top 4 protected pick for Ivica Zubac at the deadline last year. Zubac is going to be a big-time player for them moving forward. But if that pick moves out of the top 4, it will go to the Clippers. There's a 50-50 chance for that. And then the Oklahoma City Thunder will have a shot at a potential top pick. They own the Clippers' first-round pick in this draft. So wherever the Clippers fall, the Thunder are getting that pick. A lot of intrigue. Again, the Clippers got off to a slow start this year, 6-21. There was a fear across the league that the Thunder would end up with a top number 1, number 2, number 3 pick. We'll see where they end up today.
Yeah, the Thunder, a 1% and change chance to get that number 1 overall pick, and you roll your eyes, but Dallas was 1.8% last year they won it, and even the year before, the winner had a 3% chance. Shams Charania, thanks so much for joining us here on SportsCenter. Hey, the
know how important this game is. The Knicks are riding a 5-game playoff winning streak. Tremendous intensity in this first half. Tightly contested.
Philly's just getting outworked.
Brunson lets it fly. Money. The Sixers look out of sorts.
To come on the road and do this to Philly, an incredible win for the Knicks.
Right now, the Knicks are a machine.
Speaking of machines, Tim Legler joining the program on the call for Game 4, then on the call in the Eastern Conference Final, all the way to the NBA Finals. And Legs, that's a place we very well could see the New York Knicks appear in. But first, they got to complete the sweep against Philly. How do they get it done?
Well, look, their defense has been incredible. And this is what championship defense looks like. You take a look at a team that's won 6 straight games. 5 of those, they've held their opponent under 100 points. The lowest points per game given up in the postseason. And to me, that's what's been different about this team. It's the consistent physicality with which they have played across the board. It's not just the bigs, it's everywhere. And it's really made life miserable for these elite scoring wings that they've seen in these two series. So for me, that's what has stood out more than anything. And if they want to finish the deal and complete the sweep against a Philly team, even without OG Anunoby, if he doesn't play today, that to me is where they're going to hang their hat, because shot making comes and goes in the postseason. We know that. Defense can be consistent, and it certainly has been for the Knicks.
All right, if the Sixers are going to extend this series, the shot making needs to show up in a big way. What is the formula for the Sixers to win Game 4 and push this to a fifth game?
Yeah, look, when you really break down the series, Game 1, they were coming off the 7-game series with Boston, and they got blown out in New York. You kind of almost saw that coming. When you take a look at Game 2, they were in position to win. One possession game, 4 minutes to go in Madison Square Garden, and their offense completely dries up in the fourth quarter, and certainly right there down the stretch. Same thing happened the other night in their first game in Philly in this series. They're in position mid-third quarter. They're right there. And then the offense completely abandons them. And I think for me, it's Tyrese Maxey. When you take a look at his field goal attempts per game in this series relative to what he did in the regular season, significantly down. It starts with him, but you're going to need Paul George as well, maybe even the rookie VJ Edgecombe to step up. I think their perimeter players have got to make shots if they get into a situation where this is a winnable game in the fourth quarter. The Knicks are trying to end this. They don't want to extend it. They want to get as much rest as they can. If the Philadelphia 76ers want to extend this, get back to Madison Square Garden, get yourself in a position, and then have your best offensive player step up and make difficult shots when the situation requires it. They haven't had that in this series.
We are going to get our answer. Who shows up? Game 4. Afternoon delight, 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Tim Legler joining the program this morning on SC. Thanks, Legs.
You got it.
All right, we are rolling with Dolan as sports betting analyst Aaron Dolan is with us on SportsCenter. EKD, what is your best bet for Game 4?
So I'm looking at Joel Embiid to go over 7.5 rebounds. While he's only been averaging 5 rebounds so far in this series, playing in Game 1 and Game 3, he's going to have to be aggressive in this game, more specifically against the glass, because the New York Knicks, they've been one of the best rebounding teams so far in the postseason. And the key here is Joel Embiid, his usage increased by 10 minutes from Game 1 to Game 3. I know he didn't play in that Game 2, but again, he's going to have to be aggressive. He's going to have to step up, and I'd rather look at a rebounds prop for him rather than his points, because that has not gone too well for me. So we're going to go with over 7.5 rebounds for Joel Embiid today.
Hasn't gone too well for him either on the scoring front. What's another play that you like in this one, Aaron?
Let's go with Jalen Brunson to go over 26.5 points. This has been very successful for me because, as you guys know, he's averaging 31 points per game so far through this series. The only time that Philly was really able to limit him, I'd say, was Game 2, but then he came out swinging in Game 3, shooting 50% from the field, 3 for 8 from 3, and he's just one of those guys that it's kind of like a Philly thing in him in a way. He's got that dog in him. So seeing a points prop at 26.5 in a Game 4 in which they want to win, that feels like an easy bet for the over for me.
It's just a small dog. It's not like a big, it's just like a smaller
Just
one.
a small dog.
For Jalen.
Not a big one as a Philly fan.
A big bark, as Gary says. Just doing a lot of barking for someone whose segment this is not. Game 4 between the Spurs and the Timberwolves is tonight. Aaron, what's your best bet in that one?
Let's go with Anthony Edwards to have over 25.5 points. This feels low for a guy like Edwards, but let's just be honest, he only hit over this in one game so far in this series, but a lot of that was due to the fact that he was coming off injury, and just like Jalen Brunson, I mean, it's impressive. This guy can come off injury and he can still put up a ton of points, and this is just one of those spots where I think he's going to have to come up big, and I mean, again, coming off an injury and being resilient, he had 22 points in the first half in Game 3, so I think he can really get going, and with his points prop as low as 25.5, I'll go over for the Ant-Man today.
If they're going to make a push in this series, it's going to be on the strength of Ant and Ant's scoring. That is Aaron Dolan with the latest for us on SportsCenter. Thanks, EKD.
History says it's a must-win tonight for the Lakers.
Rui Hachimura and Luke Kennard. Where will the Lakers be without that duo?
Turnovers starting to mount for the Los Angeles Lakers.
Gilgeous-Alexander starting to catch fire here in the third.
Your playoff life is on the floor. This is abject frustration.
LeBron James doesn't have it going tonight. Reeves doesn't have it going.
They find themselves in an 0-3 hole.
LeBron James recently picked up the game of golf, and now the Lakers are one game away from his tee times being readily available. The Thunder taking a commanding 3-0 series lead as Quentin Richardson joins the program this morning. Q, fantastic to see you. The Lakers led Game 3 at halftime, but were outscored in the second half by 25 points. What was the biggest difference in your eyes?
For me, in that second half, I mean, like you said, they were up by 1 at halftime. That second half, they came out flat. That was a chance where you had to come out third quarter, guns blazing, and trying to put everything you got into it. They weren't able to do that. They immediately came out, and the Thunder went to work. The defense stepped up, the energy stepped up from them, and then they just continued to widen that gap to where it got to in that second half. But they didn't have anything for them. I felt like they kind of emptied the tank in the first half, and the second half, when they sputtered a little bit, the OKC Thunder did not miss a step, and they took advantage and widened that gap in the lead for them.
I give J.J. Redick a ton of credit. He's trying different lineups. He is throwing the kitchen sink at the Thunder, and he says he still thinks his team can beat the Thunder. Are you buying what he's selling, Q?
No, I am not. Listen, J.J. Redick is a former teammate of mine. I love J.J. to death. And I mean, what is he supposed to say as the head coach? He's saying what he's supposed to say. But when you look at the season, they played them 4 times, and the Thunder won on an average of 29 points. Now you come to the playoffs, they're down 3-0 by losing almost by 19 points per game. So to me, coming into this thing, there was no chance, but you be respectful. And you know they have LeBron James, and it's still a full team over there, so you still have to give them respect. But I did not think the Lakers had a true opportunity to beat the Thunder in this series.
Game 4 tomorrow night in L.A. Meanwhile, in the East, the Cavs got a game over the Pistons in Game 3 behind 35 from Donovan Mitchell. Cade Cunningham, his second career postseason triple-double, but Q, he also had 8 turnovers. What did you see from Cade, especially late in the game?
Cade was big time, like you said, having a 20-plus point triple-double, and he was everything the team needed him to be for the most of the game, all the way down the stretch. But when it got to that fourth quarter, he had, like you said, those 3 turnovers in a row were critical. 2 were like from out of bounds, and 1 was in play. And it was like, to me, I felt like he was kind of, at that point, he had played and carried so much of the load. I felt like it was a fatigue deal. Mm-hmm. It was just kind of careless. You know what I'm saying? Both of the inbound turnovers were extremely careless and not characteristic of what Cade Cunningham normally does. And I had to chalk that up to him just being kind of mentally fatigued and just let a play go by.
Yeah, Max Strus said of that first turnover that actually gave the Cavaliers the lead, he counted to his head to 3, jumped, had it, and that was sort of what changed things around. Game 4 tomorrow night in Cleveland. Q Rich joining us this morning on SportsCenter. Q, much appreciated.
Yes, sir.
Steve Kerr has won as many titles as the Cavs and Pistons combined, and maybe that's why the Warriors are not willing to let the 4-time champ leave just yet. He's agreed to a 2-year contract to return as head coach out in the Bay Area. Ooh. Took exactly 3 weeks to think it over before returning for his 13th Warriors season. Dan Eveloff and Rick Smith of Priority Sports telling ESPN yesterday.
He's let it die. Lakers go down 0-3 in the series, so Chuck busted out the broom, man. My question is, why is the set on Inside the NBA filled with so much debris?
Why is it? Well, yeah, why?
I mean, he's
so
like
dirty?
sweeping up a lot of stuff.
SG is up 3-0 in the series. Here he is with a reporter after the win.
Sorry, I forgot my question. Come back.
Last question for Shay. Don't forget.
You remember Mike? Yeah, I got it. Okay, cool. We'll go to Dave.
Let's go to Mike before he forgets.
All right.
Dave, don't forget.
That could have been my